The Irish curriculum from early years to primary to post-primary is set out by the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment. And being creative is identified as a competency that the children are expected to have achieved by the time they finish in the school system. The arts is identified as the core subject through which this aim of being creative can be developed. But yet we find in a recent study where 120 teachers contributed that 70% of the teachers find that there is a gap, a curriculum gap, in terms of achieving that reality of helping children to be creative. And interestingly, of those teachers, over 90% of them feel that the kind of creative writing or creative education methodologies that are used by organisations like Fighting Words are completely compatible with the curriculum. So what that tells us is there's a real sense that the curriculum is fit for purpose, that it could be a haven for creative education and creative methodologies, but yet there seems to be a real gap there. And what's important is to achieve this competency in relation to being creative, it has to run across all areas of the curriculum, not just the arts. It's got to be embedded in all subject areas. That's social and personal education, literacy, STEM subjects. And in this way, we can really mainstream creative education. And in the same way, to achieve that competency, we know that creative education has to be embedded at every level in the education system. But what we hear from teachers is that while there's a space in the curriculum, in the classroom, for creative methodologies when children are younger, as they grow through the school system, and certainly into senior cycle, there's just no space. There's no time to really allow creative education methodologies to be used by the teacher in the classroom. So we have this challenge, and we know that when teachers are asked about the kind of experiences that the creative methodologies and creative education can develop for them, can bring for them, they talk about the time and the space that they can create for creative education being really valuable longer term. These methodologies that the children can learn will help in the long run in terms of increased engagement, increased enjoyment, and increased capabilities for the young people. So it does really benefit them. They talk about the child-centred methodologies, the inclusive methodologies, and the way in which that participative classroom can create a positive climate, can build an open-mindedness in the classroom that really helps across the curriculum and that can bring some real positive outcomes for young people then in terms of their resilience, their well-being, and of course literacy, numeracy and oracy. So while we're seeing the gap in practice where teachers feel that they don't have the time in the curriculum to deliver creative writing and creative methodologies, in fact, we know that this is really beneficial in terms of the overall competency around being creative that the NCCA would want every child in Ireland to achieve.